There you are.
Whenever there's like a group of people in the chat going bonkers, one of them ends up calling me like, "Can't you tell those bitches don't turn?"
No, they're right. I don't want to miss anything. Listen, Poundcake, you know as well as anybody. When I'm in here monologuing, I don't want anybody to miss it. You miss a second, you miss a lot. Huh. Alan, did you see that police station in the South where that cop was sleeping with everybody? I heard about that. Yeah, there was some female cop that was banging every other cop.
Yeah.
No, it was a group thing.
Right.
It was like 4 cops, 1 girl.
And this wasn't a big town, I don't think. I think it was in Tennessee. Imagine if the bulk of your local police department all gets fired because they're all porking this one cop. It's amazing the people who decide to become law enforcement.
I don't understand.
You wonder what their primary motivation is. I mean, depending on, if it's a small enough town or whatever, they're probably like, join the police department, good benefits. It's like a little sign outside of McDonald's, free uniform. Like that's a benefit.
I was going to say, they're not going to deal with any hard crime.
Well, there's crime everywhere.
With hard things already.
Yeah! There's crime everywhere.
There's crime everywhere, but
there was a lot of breaking and entering down there, Poundcake.
Yeah, so what?
Serving, not a lot of protecting.
That's right.
I hate that. I feel like
nobody was wearing protection.
I understand they were. I think the only thing they did wrong was they weren't supposed to do that on the clock. With someone someone sleeps with,
where else would you do it?
Off the clock.
Oh, the clock. Sorry,
and the cops and the woman's husband is standing by her. Again, these are probably townies. These are probably people who grew up there, and they're like, I'll just become a cop. And I'm such a scumbag, I see a photo of this girl, and I go, oh, I get it. Because she was not attractive. And so she's probably not a confident girl. Probably thought that putting on the law enforcement uniform would maybe make her feel like a more important person. But in the process, she's still probably crazy insecure and figures she ended up giving it up to one guy because he apparently, again, I kind of got the broad strokes, if you will, of the story. I didn't do a deep dive, Bill, into the meat of it, but yeah, it's pretty wild.
I mean, yeah, it's wild. It's just the girl gets blown up, but the guys, their pictures.
They all got blown up. They all got fired.
No, but their
pictures are everywhere.
The guys aren't getting memed as much as the girl.
Well, she was the center of the thing. I mean,
I know, but it's still kind of like misogyny because everyone's talking about, oh, I can't believe how awful that guy is and blah, 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 by sticking by her. I'm like, okay, well, what about the wives? They all cheated on their wives. They're probably all married, too. They probably all have kids.
That's the sound of the police!
Well, one of the guys said he and his wife had an open relationship, so that dude might be the only one whose wife isn't pissed at him. But all the other ones are filing for divorce. But to your point, there must not have been much crime because it's like they had like a Jack Shack or something, or they were
probably had a place.
Just again, and it always blows my mind. Law enforcement obviously is an egregious example, but in any line of work where people get pinned, just do your job. Just go to work. If you're that bored, you're a cop again, I'm sure they were all townies who just became cops. If you're that bored at work, you're missing something. There's something you're missing. Just do your job. Just go and do what you're paid to do. And go home, live your life, go back to work.
There had to be
just do your job.
The dispatcher was looking at all the vehicles like, wow, there must be something really
a real incident going down.
There's 4 squad cars. Everyone has their cameras off. And someone just pulled up and was like, all right, so it seems we have a situation here.
Well, that's what Mark Norman said. He's like, where's the body cam footage on that one? I want to see what they're doing.
I'd like to report 69 in progress.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
New meaning of the word squad car.
Wait, what?
Squad.
She smashed the squad.
Oh, she smashed the squad. I gotcha.
Oh, man, you never give me my credit.
No, I just need to know where you're coming from.
Okay.
I can't automatically. With the what?
Putting the O and 5-0.
She was showing them her 5-0 face.
Yeah.
Oh, Rich in Jacksonville said what he was saying was that's why they have panic buttons and mace at arm's reach.
Okay.
Because I guess it was because I had to Google it again to see if it told you where it was, and it was like the bikini barista or whatever. It was like an old photo mat, like a little kiosk, so she was there by herself. So yeah, that's very scary. But again, my point was, anybody working a drive-thru, whether it's a big Starbucks chain and there's other people, or it's a little bikini kiosk, a dude pulls up. He's got a zip tie loop. Holy Christ. Well, anyway. Any other cop gangbang puns you want to throw in?
I think I'm out.
Okay.
Poor girl.
Huh?
Poor girl.
Why?
I feel bad
She's
for
a grown
her.
woman. Why?
Because no one deserves to be humiliated like that.
Well, then you don't. Go to work. Just work.
She was working. She
She was
was
working
working
it.
hard. Man.
Yeah.
She's fighting crime.
She took F the police a little too seriously. Somebody said, there you go.
Back the blue.
That's what I saw. Yeah.
Back up the blue.
Ice Cube said F the police, and there's the Jordan meme with her head on it, and she said, and I took that personally.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Alan, did you talk about Carol Baskin's husband? No, I talked about this with Stansbury earlier. The police are denying that what Carol Baskin says is true. She said, my husband is still alive. If you remember Tiger King, this blew up because everybody was locked down during the pandemic. So Tiger King was the big beneficiary of a lot of eyes in the early days of the pandemic where nobody knew what was going on. Tiger King was the biggest thing on the planet. And that bitch, Carol Baskin, who was a real piece back in the day, by the way, her husband went missing. And the theory was she fed him to the tigers, blah, 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 because he was rich, whatever. I never got that vibe, but whatever. So she comes forward and says, my husband is alive and he's living in Costa Rica. And she had this information like a year ago or something, but nobody said anything. I don't know. And so the story becomes, oh my God, Carol Baskin's husband is alive. This guy, Don Lewis. And law enforcement is like, we don't have any indication. He was declared legally dead in 2002. They're like, we have no information that corroborates what she says. 1997 was the last he was heard from. And so she goes, no, he's living in Costa Rica. And so it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Cops go, no, we don't have any information along those lines. So they're already shooting down what she's saying. But maybe that's the genius of Carol Baskin, is she looks so sweet. Obviously, she was cast in a certain light in Tiger King. But
I feel like they just presented the facts, and we were left to decide. There was no narrative.
So the lead detective on the case says that it's still open. She said there was a letter from Department of Homeland Security or something, but they're like, DHS wasn't even a thing until 2002. So how do they have a letter from? So I'm as confused as I was before. I shouldn't say confused. Indifferent. People are saying he is not alive. Carol Baskin is making another unsupported allegation. Of course, Joe Exotic is in prison for 21 years. But that really got everyone back into the world of Tiger King. And I'm all excited again that there were new developments in that story. But that was just one big whiff. Alan, that's why people call cops pork. What?
Porker? I don't know.
They put her in the slammer? Yeah, okay. She would freely talk about the guys at work. Yeah, again, that goes to my theory that this was a deeply insecure girl. And she's like, yeah, I get it. She's married.
And she's staying married.
Staying married. The husband's staying by her.
Who says?
She's my wife, and I love her.
And I love her. you think he's
So-
one of those? Do you think he like gets off on it? Like he likes that she was banging other dudes?
I think this dude found out that unfortunately his wife was getting the pipe laid to her at work. And
And he's like, but that retirement program's still real good.
yeah.
That pension.
Some people don't know. You people don't know what it's like to sacrifice your wife for this country.
Well, but to Poundcake's point about women getting treated differently than the men, they were all fired. But to your point, the articles are about the sex-crazed Tennessee cop, right? She's sex-crazed
well, because I guess
because she
had
was
sex
having
with-
sex. Huh?
She had sex with all four, and they had sex with one. But it still is nasty.
Gesundheit.
Exactly, Bill. Exactly.
The husband is staying by her, yes. Officer Megan Hall of Laverne, Tennessee. Her husband, Jedediah Hall. Jedediah. Yeah, she's got like tiny teeth and, you know, that whole thing. So this has got to be just some townie who's very insecure, and she's sounds like the only female in the department.
I just think because the men will live it down. The men, they'll go on and, you know, they'll remarry and it won't be no big thing. But
You've never been divorced. Divorce is no small thing,
I didn't say their lives.
especially under these circumstances.
The public eye, I mean. Like, they may not live it down with their wives, but in the public eye, people will forget the faces of the
Well,
people.
yeah, I couldn't tell you what these people look like now unless I had it brought up on my screen.
But the girl, like, she can't divorce. She'll never remarry. No dude other than the husband she's with now. 'Cause
Oh,
he's
there
stuck.
always is a dude that would remarry. Like there's always a guy that would get with her.
Okay.
May not be her first choice, but there'll be someone.
Her husband, quote, wasn't really on board with his wife having a threesome, claiming that she'd been prone to heavy drinking and she once pointed an empty gun at her head and pulled the trigger, quote, so she could hear what it sounded like.
Whoa.
Why would you have to point it at your head to hear what it sounded like?
Does that sound like something
click.
an insecure person would do, Alan?
Yeah, Alan.
I guess not.
This lady's got some demons.
God damn, you dick.
Yeah. Putting the D in demons. I got to take a break. If you want to get the last word in, send me a text.